Hi, thank you very much for that great introduction. And also I wanted to thank everybody here for coming, and also to a lot of my colleagues I see around the room. And a special thank you to Christina for putting on the dialogue. And I wanted actually to open with the concept of a dialogue. All right, I love the name. This is my first year speaking here at the Dialogue on Diversity, and I love the name, and especially in reference to access to capital. All right, so we'll talk about the gentleman over here and the lady over here that actually do lending. They have the financial capital. But raise your hand if you own a business. You all have the human and the intellectual capital. And the Dialogue on Diversity, especially in respect to this panel, seems to put those two together, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'll be talking about businesses. Oh, sorry. Forgot about my slides. You can keep going. Yeah. Next slide.
Okay.
All right, so quick, I'll talk about the Women's Business Center. The DC Women's Business Center basically just has the mission to empower women to grow their businesses. What does that mean? Growth, expansion, we use these words all the time. It helps you anywhere from a startup to get your first client all the way to when you're about to sell your, I don't know, $5 million business to Coca-Cola, all right? All the way to your exit plan. That's what we're here for. We do it through free one-on-one business counseling, and we also have group workshops like was mentioned earlier. And so some of our partners are mentioned here. Also, you guys have heard from Kevin Parker, who actually speaks at some of our trainings, which is wonderful. One of our trainings is actually held at LEDC. It's called the Financial Fitness Series, which is also held in Spanish and English if required. So it's really great to be working here with some of our partners. And PNC as well, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention you. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you, Art. Anyway, so today I'll be talking about the business life cycle. The business life cycle, you start up as a seed and then you go all the way through maturity in your exit plan. Now you may actually not exit during your lifetime, but the business will exit maybe someday, perhaps not. Coca-Cola, for example, is one of those enduring businesses that will probably last forever. Anyway, so we talk about startups. Raise your hand if you've been a startup yourself. Okay, fantastic. How does it feel? Scary? A little bit? Difficult? It's very difficult to access capital. And so your first and foremost goal in life is to grow. All right? And so we'll talk about some of the challenges that startup businesses have very specifically. One, they're considered to be unstable. Two, they are considered to have a lack of experience. And what I mean by this is not a lack of experience in the field necessarily. You could be a consultant, for example, for 20 years. But if this is your first business as an IT professional, then it's considered to be a lack of experience. And according to either if you're trying to get into business with as a subcontractor or with the government contracting as well. So also we'll talk about your established market or brand. You heard Mauricio Gaitan earlier. He was talking about establishing that market brand, and also your instability, your inability to prove that your business will continue to grow or will grow in the first place. So those are some of your startup challenges. They sound really difficult, right? And they feel really difficult if you are a startup. I know for an absolute certain that is indeed something that we have to deal with as well as that fear. But once you've gotten over that fear and you are ready to really move into the solution portion of financing your business, first you have to have your business plan. You've heard about preparation all day. This has been a theme throughout the day. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Do your market research. Take care of your financial plans, and that means checking out your financial projections. All right. So a startup business has to depend heavily on its market research. All right. Your research is going to tell the bank or the lender or the venture capitalist or the angel investor, whoever is financing your startup. All right. Even if it's your mom. All right, and I can tell you that from actual experience. Even if it's your mom, they want to know, how are you going to pay me back? And what happens if you don't? So two very important questions. how are you going to pay me back, and what happens if you don't? So showing that business plan and having those financials prepared is something really important, and that's something that we provide at the Women's Business Center. We have a class called Financial Fitness that is specifically created for helping women to get their first loan. Men are invited too, so please don't be afraid. Also, technical assistance, all right? So talk to a counselor, talk to a coach. Mentors are not there to walk you through every little step of your financial plan. That's what technical assistance is for. Make sure that you kind of put a crowbar separation between those two and understand that you are ready for a mentor or technical assistance, or both. But you definitely don't want to be right there with a great opportunity to have a mentor and be asking them how to get a business license. So, also, then we'll talk about established businesses. Now, I separate growth and expansion, and I talk about expansion as something that can happen several times in the life cycle of your business. All right, so you grow once and then you become established in some market. You've penetrated at least one market, and then from every step after that, you are penetrating new markets. So you are expanding. This is when these guys want to talk to you. Typically, right? So anyway, you still have challenges when you're breaking into new markets. Whether you are just about to export to your first country, whether you're about to add a country, whether you're about to go global. So pulling from the exporting piece that we just talked about, getting your first government contract, getting your first large government contract, graduating out of some kind of certification, for example, the 8A program. If you graduate out of that, then you're going to need some technical assistance possibly to move forward. So kind of anything where you are going from one step and taking a step forward. That is a step. That is an established business in expansion. So some of the solutions for that is basically just going back to the drawing board, rewriting and making sure that your business plan is alive and well, and that you have a specific business strategy for those projects. So when you go to Mr. Parker, for example, or if you go to, or even if you go to the XM Bank, when we were talking about that earlier, you have to have a specific strategy that shows how you are going to break into that particular market. So first we do this, then we do this, then we do this. It is very important to have all of those set up. And again, that's something that we can help you with at the Women's Business Center, pulling other resources from all of the fantastic people that we see in the room and others. So what's next? I want to keep my remarks brief so that we can get to the question and answer period as well. You can, if you are a business owner and if you are interested in the Women's Business Center and our training or any of our resources, again, something that I do as a business counselor and a trainer is I tell stories. I tell stories to bankers, I tell stories to lenders, I tell stories to capital investors about you, the business owner. I get to know you, we sit down, we have coffee, Florence will bring you some water. We will take care of anything that you need to be comfortable talking about your business. What we find a lot of times is that women are very uncomfortable talking about their businesses. They will start off with that NDA, the non-disclosure agreement. Please don't tell anyone about this. I have this fantastic idea. Please don't let it get away. And I think that that might tie into some of the information that you heard earlier when Ivania was talking about the fear of being rejected. All right. So if you're not going to fund me, if I get rejected for this loan, then my great idea is out there in the hands of someone a lot richer than I am, and he's going to take my business plan and steal it. I have seen that attitude over and over and over again, and that's what we're here to help quell, that fear. Okay? So if you're interested in business counseling, you will want to attend one of our orientations where we go into depth about what the Women's Business Center does here in Washington, D.C. And the next orientation is going to be on the 17th of August, and they are after work. So you are welcome to come and see us then. And you can also sign up for a class, as well as meet us for the walk and talk. This is something that's very unique to the Women's Business Center. A lot of times I get the question, do you help guys? Yes, we do. Guys are welcome. As a matter of fact, 10% of our class participants are men. And that's simply because we accept everybody. We don't close the door on anybody. Again, we don't have any requirements like the MBEC, thank you very much, And the MBEC will say, the MBEC is the Minority Business Enterprise Center. It's connected to the MBDA, and I think they've actually changed their name to MBDA, yes. So they only help businesses with $1 million in revenue and up. So what happens to everyone below? All right? Women's Business Center is there for everyone. And one of the reasons that we call ourselves a Women's Business Center is simply because we are an SBA resource specifically targeted for women. How we accomplish that is we have something called a circle of support. What does that mean? Is that we are there for you to support you in all of your roles, with all of your hats. As many of the people who raised their hand and said, I have been a startup business, know that you have to put on the mom hat and the sister hat and the dog walker hat for your neighbor. And we have all of those roles in our lives, and yet we are a business owner. And many times we also have a job. So do we really want to be in our heels every single Tuesday or every single Thursday or every single week for some kind of happy hour? Maybe not. Maybe we have to pick up kids. So we have a walk and talk, and we provide that on the second Saturday of every month. And we put on our tennis shoes at 9 o'clock in the morning. We are there in the mall, and we are there ready to talk to you and help you to grow your business through business opportunities and networking. So please come out for that if you guys are even slightly interested in getting to know some of our awesome business owners. We've had some really amazing relationships that have been formed right there on the mall. So thank you so much for having us here, and I hope to see you next year.